Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So where have I been? What have I been up to? What's been going on with me? I'm gonna get into it. I've got my tea at hand. So let's get into the video. I've been getting a lot of messages on Instagram asking me, what the hell's been going on? I've just disappeared off the face of the earth. People are curious. I get it, because as somebody who's been posting almost every day for 5 years on there, it is quite unusual for me to just disappear. As you know, Christmas time is very busy, and especially for someone like me who has chronic illnesses and disabilities, it is even more harder to put provisions into place when you're going to go see family. So I had to prepare lots of things. So that was a bit of a stressor. Then on the 23rd of December, I woke up not feeling great. Like, I have what I call my baseline, because I'm always sick. But if I go below my baseline, then I know something new is going on, or I've got a flare up or something like that. So that was on the 23rd. Then on the 24th of December, I woke up with swollen glands and like a very swollen lip. So I managed to get hold of my GP. He told me I had a throat infection. I got antibiotics because I knew the following day there are no GPs open and I was gonna need it. So he prescribed me some antibiotics, started taking those, and then on the 25th of December I felt really rotten. But you guys know antibiotics have side effects, so I was thinking it might be from the antibiotics. Went and saw family on the 25th, everything was good. I didn't feel great, but I had the lovely distraction of being around the people that I love. 26th, Boxing Day, I woke up, and if you saw my video, I had a seizure, which was part 2 of my Christmas vlog. You will know that I had a seizure at my brother's house. I do have a condition called autoimmune epilepsy, which is a comorbidity of lupus. So I am on medication to control my seizures, because I was having a flare up, or I wasn't well, or the throat infection, it kind of brought it on because it was like an extra stressor to the body. I hadn't had one in a while, so I definitely wasn't expecting to have one, especially when you're not in the comfort of your own home and you're around family. If you've ever experienced a seizure, you know that whole day becomes a write-off, and then the following day is all about resting. So the 27th, all I did was rest. 28th, I felt kind of all right. 29th, I felt kind of all right. Then 30th came, and that's when everything was just like... I woke up and it felt like I had rocks in my arms and legs, and I couldn't lift myself up. My head was spinning, I had a horrible migraine, and I just said to Chris, I can't move. Now, every morning, Chris makes me a bowl of rice, because I also have a condition called mast cell activation syndrome, which is an allergy disorder, and it is a comorbidity of Ehlers Danlos syndrome and of Lyme disease. With my nutritionist and my doctor, we devised that having just plain rice for breakfast is really good for me, because it means that there's not much flavour, but I still get some energy to begin my day, because I do get a lot of reactions to a lot of foods and certain things, and that is a safe food for me, basically. He made me a rice bowl. I couldn't even hold it. I was trying to pick up my spoon, my hand was shaking, so he had to feed me. He fed me about 3 or 4 spoons before I just threw up. It was just so fast, but because I'm used to kind of being sick every now and again, we always have a sick bag nearby. And I should have given a trigger warning earlier, but I will be talking about being sick. I had some water, threw up the water. I just laid down, and as soon as I lay down, I threw up again. I couldn't even get up to go to the toilet. All I could do was just roll over and just be sick, which is horrible. This carried on every hour for the rest of the day. I tried water, that was making me throw up. I tried Alka-Seltzer Gold, which, if you don't know, it's trisalts, and when I was in hospital, they gave me trisalts to help calm my nausea and sickness. It doesn't always get rid of the sickness, but I find it does help to minimize it. I had trisalts, I threw that up. Tried plain rice cakes, threw that up. Anything I was putting into my mouth, I was throwing up. I even tried a bit of plain gluten-free toast, threw that up. My throwing up started at about 11 a.m. and it went on to about 10 p.m. every hour up until 10 p.m. before we decided that I should call the emergency out of hours service. I just knew something wasn't right. First thing they asked me, do you have COVID? I didn't, because I was testing myself and it was coming up negative. So they told me it sounds like it's probably neurovirus, which is a vomiting bug and pretty common this time of the year, and that if I don't stop throwing up in the next few hours, I might have to come in and get an infusion, because I couldn't drink, couldn't eat, couldn't do anything without throwing up. And I had gotten to the point where I was hallucinating. I have never experienced hallucinations in my life, so that was the first. It could just be that I was so weak from throwing up all the time. I had the worst migraine, and so all the tiredness combined with everything probably made me hallucinate. I looked down at Chris and half of his arm was missing, and I was like, what's wrong with your arm? And he said he was like lifting it, but I could only see half of it. And then at one point I was laying on the bed and I felt like there were like wild horses like jumping over me and coming towards me, to which I felt I had to lean back and move out of their way. At one point I felt like I was in the galaxy. It was so trippy. If hallucinations are something you experience, I can't even imagine, because that was really, really strange. It felt so real, but I knew it wasn't, if that makes sense. I had the worst migraine to the point where I felt like somebody was throwing a brick over my head. I just couldn't do anything. The only thing I was doing was just rolling over and being sick, then rolling back over again. And they just said if I don't stop throwing up, I'll have to probably call the ambulance and come in and get looked over, because I might need an infusion of some kind to get my electrolytes and such up. By midnight, I just collapsed and I fell asleep. And Chris said I slept for about 4 hours. When I woke up, I took some paracetamol and I didn't throw it up. So that helped marginally with my migraine, and I was able to have a little bit of water and then go back to sleep. When I woke up, I was able to eat a few spoonfuls of rice. I was still nauseous, but I didn't throw up, so that was a good sign. I took a COVID test, Chris took a COVID test, and we were positive. So I guess what we were experiencing was COVID, but I didn't know that you could get such severe symptoms like that. Constant vomiting, the hallucinations, the severe migraines, the feeling like you weigh a ton and not being able to move, the shakes, etc. Chris tested positive as well, but his symptoms were nowhere as bad as what I was experiencing. And I worried, because I was like, you know, we spent time with family. I know it was like a few days ago, but I know that with Omicron, it can take a few days to show up on the test. But everyone we were around was negative. Only Chris and I were positive. So did we get it at Christmas? I don't know. Did we get it from the supermarket? I don't know. It's impossible to know, but we were positive for COVID. My migraine was consistent. I didn't get one single break with my migraines for 10 days. It was just so bad. Hallucinations, spotting in my eyes, seeing stars, feeling like I'm on some kind of a trip. All I kept doing was just falling asleep. Just sleeping. I would just be talking to Chris and I'd fall asleep. Watching TV, fall asleep. Just kept falling asleep. I couldn't control it. It was just really, really weird. I've experienced being chronically ill and being so fatigued to the point where you can't do anything, because I do have ME, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and all those other things that go along with EDS. But this was just different, if that makes sense. I wasn't so much experiencing coughing. Chris was coughing, but I would associate COVID with coughing and breathing issues, which I didn't really experience. I did have COVID back in 2019 when it was new and we couldn't get tested. And I did get diagnosed with COVID right at the beginning by my GP through symptoms only, because there was no way to get tested. And I was experiencing a lot of breathlessness and breathing issues and coughing back then. But this time around, it was completely different. I know it has mutated. With Omicron, the symptoms are very different. I don't feel like I had as much recovery to do as I did the first time round. First time round, I experienced long COVID where I felt the effects for about 10 months, because I actually got diagnosed with asthma not long after, and I had to have a pump and take medication to help regulate my breathing. And after about 10 months, that I still deal with that, but it has subsided a lot. Whereas this time round, although I'm experiencing headaches, still it is not severe anymore, and I've still got like a stuffy nose, and I still don't feel 100%, but I don't have a sore throat, I feel okay to talk, I'm able to do my normal stuff on my baseline, which is good. I am negative now, which is why I feel good to talk about it. I'm negative as of yesterday. Yay! And I guess I'm nervous to see whether there will be lasting effects or what, but I just figured I'd come and talk about my experience with Omicron, how it's been for me. Chris was bad, but nowhere near as severe as I was. But then again, he doesn't have a chronic illness or disability like I do. It took me 10 days to test negative after testing positive. But I just feel like I no longer want to prioritize social media over my health, which sounds like a no-brainer. But for 5 years, I have been putting Instagram over my health. Whether I was throwing up that day, whether I was having a seizure that day, whether I was at a long hospital appointment, whether I was going for treatment, I would post no matter what. It kind of takes its toll on you, and I'm thinking, what am I doing this for? Although I've recently started YouTube, I feel more relaxed on here because I feel like I can just put on my camera, talk to you guys. Whereas with Instagram, it's very curated. It's like you get ready, you think about your location, you have a theme, you go out, you're relying on lighting, on good weather. In fact, it's actually started to spit. Then you take a couple of hours taking your photos or videos, and then you've got outfits to change into so you can do a variety of looks. I feel like my time for that has been and gone in a way. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not leaving Instagram. I don't plan to. I love doing yoga challenges, but I'm not going to be on Instagram as much as I have been. I just want to focus more on myself and my health, and I'll be more on here, just talking to you guys, vlogging here and there, and that's what I want to do moving forward. And I think my goal for 2022 is to just prioritize my health, prioritize family, and just be happy. That's just generally where I'm at, what I've been up to. I have lost nearly 1,000 followers on Instagram in the last month where I haven't posted. And in the past, I would have gotten upset about that. But now I'm just like, having more followers doesn't bring me happiness. It doesn't bring me anything. The people who are my friends or who care about me, I will private message them and they will stick by me, and the others who are just there can go. Like, it doesn't matter. Curated content doesn't make me happy as much as just like talking about my everyday life, being real with you guys, being honest and genuine, and all the good things that I love to see in other creators. I haven't really touched on this much either, but I've been diagnosed with heart block, so my heart doesn't quite work the way it should. So that has been a focus of mine as well. It's been quite worrying, and just taking yoga photos online just hasn't been a priority. So that is where I'm gonna leave it. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, evening, morning, still nasally, wherever you are. Thanks for watching, thanks for being here. and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.